Welcome to Mrs. Zell's SOL Review 8.5. Today we're going to be talking about perfect squares and two consecutive whole numbers between which a square root lies. A perfect square is the product of an integer in itself. So for example, 5 squared is 25, 10 squared, 15 squared. 225, 12 squared, 144, right. So a square root is the base for which when multiplied by itself, it is equal to the original number. So the square root of 64 is 8. The square root of 81, 9. And square root of 400, ooh, that's a negative. What's the square, what is the negative 20? Very good. So if there is a negative on the outside, you will apply that negative. What about the square root of 1? Correct. All right, when you're estimating square roots, identify the two consecutive whole numbers between which square root of the given whole number lies. For example, the square root of 21. Determine the two perfect squares that 21 falls between. So think of your perfect squares. Take the square root of the two perfect squares and answer. For example, the square root of 21 is between 16 and 25 because the square root of 16 equals 4 and the square root of 25 would equal 5. So think of your perfect squares. So which two numbers? Consecutive means back to back, so the correct answer would be 4 and 5. Number 1, which of the following numbers is a perfect square? You should have chosen 36 because that is a perfect square. The square root of 36 is 6. Number 2, between which two whole numbers is the square root of 33? Well, the square root of 25 is 5. And then the square root of 36 would be 6. So the square root of 33 falls in between. So the answer is D, between 5 and 6. Number 3, which number is a perfect square? It is 25. The square root of 25 is 5. 25 is a perfect square. Number 4, which has a value between a negative 2 and a negative 3? The correct answer is, yep, negative square root of 8. Number 5, place the square root of 23 where it belongs on the number line. Well, if you know what the square root of, let's see, square root of 16 is 4, the next perfect square would be 25, which equal 5. 23 falls in the middle between 4 and 5. So it's somewhere between 4 and 5. Number 6, what is a negative square root of 324? Negative 18. Number 7, which pair of numbers are both between 6 and 7? D is correct. D is correct. The square root, let's see, the square root of 36, or 6 squared is 36. Let's see, which pair of numbers are both between? And let's see, 7 squared would be 49. Which pair of numbers are both between 6 and 7? So the answer to number 7 is D. Number 8, which statement best describes the square root of 50? Well, the square root of 50, if you punched it into your calculator, would be 7.07. So it is between 7 and 8. So the correct answer is C. So check back for SOL 8.6 tomorrow.